Zach Meslani now making his way to the stage. Meslani in the black and white. 666 expect fireworks, ladies and gentlemen.
It's Zach from 10th Planet Bethlehem.
10th Planet Bethlehem.
Veritable dream team of killers.
Him and JM
Yes, sir.
holding down the fort at 10th Planet Bethlehem.
Great technique. He's
a beast. He's a savage.
excellent coaches, I have to say. Great guys, JM and Zach.
That's a beautiful.
Great guys, JM and Zach.
Veritable dream team of killers.
He's a beast. He's a savage.
It's Zach from 10th Planet Bethlehem.
10th Planet Bethlehem. That's 10th Planet Bethlehem. It's a beautiful.
Great technique. It's
10th Planet Bethlehem.
Every week, Tyler gave the rules that he and I decided.
Gentlemen, welcome to Fight Club. The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. Third rule of Fight Club, someone yells stop, goes limp, taps out. The fight is over. Fourth rule, only two guys to a fight. Fifth rule, one fight at a time, fellas. Sixth rule, no shirts, no shoes. Seventh rule, fights will go on as long as they have to. And the eighth and final rule, if this is your first night at Fight Club, you have to fight.
Oh, shit. What up? Zach's Corner, episode 49. And we're back in business, people. Well, not technically back in business because we're still under a government shutdown, which sucks assholes. But the thing about it is we're trying to make the best of it and trying to stay positive. And, I have these little moments where I just freak out and I want to just, punch holes in walls and just, go nuts and tackle people with masks on and punch people out who don't believe what I believe. But you can't do that, obviously. So you got to stay positive. You got to, everybody came out hard with the push-up contest. And that kind of ended up going by the wayside because it's hard to stick to things, especially, prison workouts sitting at home is boring as hell. You just want to go out and, do work and do your thing. And you can't because we're all stuck at home because Governor Wolf is a wimp. And I don't say that because, and a lot of people take that wrong where they're like, oh, you don't think the virus is real or you don't think, the virus is bad, but it actually is. It really is bad. I mean, a lot of people have died in Pennsylvania, but most of the people that have died have been, in their 80s, unfortunately. And, I'd be really upset if my grandmother passed away or if one of my grandparents or elderly people that I know got it. And it's definitely possible. And that's why they need to stay home and stay safe and, stay away because it's, those type of people are the ones who are affected the most and they need to stay out of harm's way. So even my mom, my dad's diabetic and everything, like they're all home. I keep telling them if they need any help, I'll help them. But, just like they're crazy, they don't need any help. I do. I miss my grandmother. I miss my mom. I miss my dad. I miss everybody. But, at this point, it's been over a month. We haven't gotten any government grants or any bullshit like that. So we haven't gotten our stimulus checks, me and JM. So we're just like, what? We're about to, just go back to work how we can. We're not going to open up our school like a bunch of idiots. But, we've been doing stuff on the low anyways, private lessons and, just training with Grace and stuff. But, we want to get back to work. And I think everyone wants to get back to work, to be honest with you. I just took a sip. I've been drinking a lot more beer because of the whole lockdown because there ain't shit to do. I went to the school this morning, got a workout in, came home, went for a walk with my wife, walked the dogs, ate some lunch, and now I am sitting here recording a podcast, and then I'm going to sit out on my back porch and drink a beer. Well, I'm already drinking beer. It's a Bethlehem Brewworks. Shout out to Bethlehem Brewworks. They got some good beers and they got some good food, and this is what is this? This is a Steel Garden Wit, and it's really good. It's like a Blue Moonish type thing, but not like orangey. It's like their own beer. Bethlehem got their own brewery. It's like called Fagley's Brewworks. Some people call it Fagley's. I don't know why, but it's actually called the Bethlehem Brewworks. There's one in Allentown too. Shout out to 10th Planet in Allentown. A shout out to all you guys sticking with us, listening to all the podcasts. I've been jumping on other podcasts. I was on Inside BJJ. Go back, check that out. I'm going to do a couple interviews coming up. Just took some time off. You guys know I do that from time to time, take some time off and just kind of relax from the podcast. But we have been doing the Now We Go podcast. And from here on out, everything that I record on Zach's Corner podcast, we're also going to put on the Finishers podcast site, so that way all the old subscribers of the Finishers podcast are going to see the new podcast coming out, along with shout out to Mike Fauerbach and the Now We Go podcast, which is that's a cross between the Finishers and Never Again Radio. Mike's the man. He's working his way through this coronavirus bullshit. And he's, selling T-shirts, doing his thing, got his podcast up and running, but it's not at full force because a lot of people aren't coming in, to do interviews and stuff. Some people are really scared and at home hiding in their bathtubs wearing masks. So, those people, he'll get them on eventually. And we've been doing it. We've been going down to the studio and doing it. It's been awesome. A lot of great feedback. People think it's funny, and that's the whole point. It's a comedy podcast. We just go on there and basically talk shit. It's a Monday morning. We're usually super riled up from that. I've been posting it on here, so if you're listening to this podcast, odds are you've listened to that. But if you're brand new and you're like, I'm going to check out Zach's Corner for the first time on episode 49, go back and listen to the Now We Go podcast. It's pretty funny. And it's three of us, so it's a little bit different dynamic than this. And I hope this is coming out all right. I'm actually... Should I play with the levels a little bit? I don't know if that was echoing. Yeah, maybe I'm just echoing like crazy, but this is my first time recording with my Rode mic that I was suggested to buy by the guys, and I bought it because I needed a new mic because the other one really sounded like I was in a tunnel. Maybe this one sounds like I'm in a tunnel, and you guys will tell me this. You'll be like, you sound like an idiot because you didn't test it, and I don't usually test things. And I never, and I repeat, never read the directions to shit, and that's final. I never read the directions. A lot of times I don't want someone to tell me how to do it first. I want to try and fail 3 times, then I want someone to tell me, and then I want to try to do it my own way, and then when it still doesn't work, I'll listen to the person, but I still will never read the directions. Like back in the day, a lot of kids won't remember this, but back in the day when you would get a video game, first thing you would do is open it up. And I knew some kids, first thing they would do is open the video game. They wouldn't look at any of the pictures, and they would look at the directions and then try to figure out what the buttons were. They'd be like, okay, it says here, if I press the left or I press C, it kicks. And I would be like, no. I'm not going to look at the directions. I'm going to turn the thing on, grab the controller, and start pressing all the buttons and see what does what. And honestly, when I did that against an old friend of mine, when the original Mortal Kombat came out, he read the directions. I did not, and I whooped his ass with Sub-Zero. And I think he picked Liu Kang, and I beat the shit out of him. So, and, eventually he figured out how to get the fatalities and all that shit, but for the most part. But yeah, shout out to everybody. Miss everybody. Sucks not being able to come in all the time. Some guys, some people I'm still seeing all the time. So I really, it's still cool. But like, there's so many people that I just, especially if you don't really have Instagram and shit, there's so many people I think of. I'm like, oh, that guy. I'm like, what happened to him? I'm like, oh, I miss that dude. Or, oh, I can't believe the kids. Like, hopefully, everybody comes back. And honestly, we really haven't lost many people. I know I've seen some schools reporting that they were losing like the majority of their student base. We have such cool people at 10th Planet, Bethlehem, 10th Planet Allentown, Finishers MMA. And most of the people are just ready to get back to work in their own right. And they're just like, you know what, this sucks. I can't wait to do, what we are, go back to somewhat normal life. And we get it. I get it, Zach. Not everything's going to be complete normal life. And that's fine. But the people who want to stay in can stay in. The people who want to go out and live their lives can do that because they have that right, because this is America and the United States and all that stuff, hot dogs and baseball and everything. And these governors shutting us down is bullshit. And I don't want to get back into that because it's negative, but I want to stay positive. But I really feel like the main thing, obviously losing all the money sucks and, all that shit. But the main thing for me is just we had so much momentum built up and, we were working towards such positive things and everybody was doing great. And, people are doing breakdowns and talking about, how much they respect us in the game and, all this different stuff and giving us respect. And, I just really appreciate it from everybody. And it's super dope, man. It's cool to see people like in this time, like going through old matches of ours. Like shout out to Josh Duke from Sapaterio, just put out like a little video. I'm going to record some of it and put it on, and just how cool it is for him to go on and like break down our matches. Like how dope is that, you know? And just being respected in the game means a lot to me, because it's one of the reasons why I started the shit in the first place, was to, you know, get respect in the game and make a name for myself and now for my team and my students and everything, and keep going. And when you have something like that ripped out from under you, whether it be a real virus or, you know, a political agenda or whatever you want to call it, it hurts and it sucks. Like, you know, I get emotional about it, and when people want to argue me and they're just like, stay home, the virus will come and kill you. It's like, first of all, that's not how viruses work. Second of all, you know, I got shit to do, man. Like if it was like a real super crazy plague, like I would have, and we did the right thing. You know, we shut down our place for over a month and a half, but at this point, it's like, you know, mental health. I just, you know, we got to, people want to go back and do it. And I feel like that's the whole reason why we live in America, is to be free and to be able to, you know, if you want to take risks, like, you know, they're not allowing people to go out for something like this, but they allow people to bungee jump. You know, like some things will be like, I can't believe you will go out in this. I can't believe you will do that. I'm going to wear a mask and I'm blah, 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 blah. But then, when we go to the carnival, you would bungee jump. You would be the type of guy like, yeah, what's wrong with that? Now, I know it's not, you know, it's not like a crazy great comparison to compare bungee jumping and the coronavirus, but I'm just trying to tell you, like, I would never bungee jump because there's too many things could go wrong, and I don't trust this yokel, you know, with 3 teeth, you know, is spitting in a spittoon, putting together, you know, the bungee cord and shit like that. But there's a lot of people that would, you know, there's people, tons of people out there that would bungee jump and skydive and ride motorcycles and do all this crazy shit, but they won't go outside without a mask, and they're wearing a mask in their car. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm taking calculated risks. You're just taking idiotic risks. And I feel like that's a lot of people, and they just, you know, pot calling the kettle black type shit. So again, I don't want to get super negative again, because every time I start talking about it, it gets negative. And, you know, I also wanted to make it to be like something where, like, anytime you go outside, you want people to die. It's like, what? I don't want people to die at all. I don't want anyone to die. I just want to be able to do my job in a safe way. That's all. All I ever wanted is for a chance to do my thing. I don't want anyone to be hurt or anything like that. So that's ridiculous. Like, that's complete ridiculousness. So, but like I said, I just got mad because we had so much momentum going, and you know, it was just such a joy to see everybody, and it brings meaning to my life, you know. So if that bothers anybody that I missed something, then, you know, suck it. Honestly, I don't care. Like I you know, I feel like it you know, was, for a lot of people, was an escape to get out of like normal life, or to get into something, or change their life, lose weight, you know, break out of anxiety, learn something new, the camaraderie of being a part of something, you know, and you know, when they talk about all these new words that they say, like social distancing and all these different things, I feel like, you know, you guys need to listen to the George Carlin soft language thing, and they just don't tell people like it is, and that's the bottom line, and that's final. So, all right, let's talk about something else. What do we got coming up? Nothing, because of the coronavirus. Just kidding. But seriously, we do have some stuff. If any of you guys want to support any of the squads, I know 10th Planet Allentown has some shirts out there. I mean, that's kind of what we're going through now. We're doing some shirts and stuff. So if go to shopfinishers.com. We got a new I Did Jiu-Jitsu Today shirt out. We have a new 10th Planet Miami shirt that's coming out. So buy that piece. Appreciate all you guys that have been supporting us. Finishers TV is free. So if you haven't gone on Finishers TV, click on new uploads, and that's got all the new shit on there. I've been filming videos, you know, just throwing stuff up there, you know, kind of like, you know, like a scrum on omoplatas, and like how I'm getting them and what I'm doing and stuff like that. So check that out. You can buy my latest mixtape. And like I said, everybody, back in the day, everybody knows, like, yo, Eminem CD came out. Yo, did you guys get the new Slim Shady? And it'd be like, yeah, man, Slim Shady's sick, dude. I got that. Like, I dyed my hair blonde too, just like all you guys. And they'd be like, yeah, me too. And then I'd be like, but did you guys hear the DJ Green Lantern? And then guys would be like, huh? I'm like, you guys didn't hear the DJ Green Lantern? Look up DJ Green Lantern Invasion Part 1, Part 2. It's basically all the Eminem, 50 Cent, G-Unit, D12 disses against Benzino. What the hell is that? Ja Rule and all that shit. So go on, check that out. If you haven't heard of Green Lantern, you're playing yourself, because the old Green Lanterns, the mixtapes, and the DJ Clue, all those pieces were like, that was the hot shit. Like everyone was like, oh yeah, Fabulous put out a CD. Now granted, I was listening to old school Fabulous, that song Click and Spark, that shit's sick. But when you go back and listen to Fabulous, even a second CD, like Street Dreams or something like that, but it was when he was chilling outside with a mink on in front of a Bentley, and that album was good, but there's so many girly songs on it, like so many like Club, like, you know, He Just Wants to Be With Me or whatever that one was. I hated that song. But the thing was, that same time DJ Clue put out a mixtape with Jay-Z. Same thing. He had a lot of good albums, but Jay-Z's some mixtape shit from back in the day was gangster. You know, the Big L shit, all the early mixtape stuff. So that's what I'm saying. I know you guys go out. I know a lot of you guys have bought our BJJ Fanatics DVD, the fundamentals one on the warm-ups. Like, that's a great place to start. There's kids. Let me look up these Instagrams real quick, because Saturdays, what someone just said Saturdays, so now I said Saturdays. And I think it's Kids. I'm going to give them a shout out. Kids BJJ Life on Instagram. They're pretty dope. They just put up a bunch of videos. They buy all of my stuff, and they got the warm-ups and stuff. And literally, I can't tell what's going on, but it says this is just a diary of our kids' competitions and training. So all these kids doing jiu-jitsu, dude, they're doing heel hooks. They're doing, all types of moves. Let me see this. Hold on a second. Did these kids train at? Oh, shit. I lost it. And our kids, like people, like my boy Bill, shout out to Bill Roche. He says that our kids is one of the best, kids classes. Where is this guy? All right, so I can't tell where these guys train, but whatever, they're the man. And then let me shout out Sammy here. I'm going to send these guys some T-shirts. I got to send that Kids BJJ Live. Samantha Cornejo, and they call her Sammy. She's Samantha CORNEJO_Sammy, and I think she just trains with her dad. But she's doing she got a mom, or is this her younger sister? Yeah, her dad might be training her. But the cool thing is, like not anyone can do this, but like anybody with a brain can look at a bunch of moves and then show their kids the moves like a dance, which is what I think a lot of people are doing now since they're stuck in quarantine and they really want to keep their kids training, So they show them like moves, like, okay, here, check this out. You could practice this move and you could practice that move. And then what happens is the kids start understanding the move like a dance. But if they can't roll, the kids BJJ Life, those kids look like they're around the same age, like they can roll against each other. But some of the kids who can't, they don't, and that's when people are starting to learn. I see the biggest problem when people are first starting to learn the 10 planet system, and they learn it from our BJJ Fanatics DVD, is they're learning the moves and they're getting the moves, but they don't understand the timing of the move. So maybe they understand okay, well, when a guy does this, I do that. It's good to know that. You have to know all the routes. Okay, you could, and that's where I get on the guys with, even with the coronavirus shit, again, not to bring that up, but when people are bringing out charts and graphs and statistics and all this stuff, and I've never been a big charts, graphs, statistics guy. Maybe it's because I suck at math, but every time I see that shit, I'm like, yeah, that's on paper. You could do all that and projections and diversify bonds and, let me pie chart this and percentages and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? It's not how it goes. You could do all the shit and it's never how it works out. And generally they're wrong. I mean, no, I'm not saying, they're saying, Zach, that's science. You have to look into these things, and yeah, they're going to be wrong because they constantly have to change the hypothesis and all this different shit. But it's like my dad always says, the best job in the world is the meteorologist, is basically the guy who walks outside and goes, yeah, it looks like it's going to rain tomorrow. Well, they don't have a fucking clue. You think they'd be able to figure that shit out in 2020? And Hurricane Schwartz over at Channel 69 gets it wrong all the fucking time. It's going to rain tomorrow. It's beautiful out. Oh, it's going to be beautiful out. It rains. These guys don't know what the hell they're talking about. And that's what I'm saying. They're just going off a bunch of data, and a lot of times it's not right. And that's the thing with jiu-jitsu, and that's the thing with working out at a place, and why you'll never lose that. And people miss, well, I could just do it at home. I could just virtually do it. That's the way it's a new normal, Zach. We're moving into virtual shit. Well, guess what? I will virtually beat the shit out of you when me and you get in a fight, because I'm actually using physical contact and you're not. If you're just doing stuff like you're doing your body weight stuff at home, all gravy, push-ups, cool. If you're like, practicing the moves, even just drilling, great. But if you're not going live and you don't understand the timing of the move, you don't get it. You're at not even at 50% capacity, in my opinion. That's why sometimes in class you will drill one move and you only go into one or two things, or one position or one pass, and then you have to live drill that a million times. So you have to understand the timing of it. Like I could watch videos all day on how to shoot guns, but then you put a gun in front of you and it's nerve-wracking because you're holding a fucking gun. It's the same shit. All right. So sometimes you have to listen to the graphs and you have to listen to the charts and say like, okay, everything's, in business, you have to sometimes when you say like, okay, memberships have been going up, 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 up. Okay, we're doing the right thing. Memberships are going down, 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 down. You'd be like, all right, we're fucking up somewhere, right? Those are types of things you have to listen to. But sometimes, those things are wrong too. And sometimes they're not equating into different factors. And that's, and one of those factors is understanding the timing of moves. So that being said, the kids on Instagram are killing it. Their parents helping them out. They're doing great. They look like they have solid training partners and solid parents that are able to help them. Now, the real difference comes in is when you can go to the school and you can get multiple different types of people to roll with. A guy who's bigger than you, a person who's smaller than you. And, some people never want to roll with big people, and that's understandable. I get that. I don't want to get hurt either. You want to preserve your body. But my strength conditioning, shout out to Craig Merrick, my strength conditioning coach, Craig, he said this one time, sometimes it's great to warm up, and champions never miss the warm up. But sometimes you have to go in there and just be ready to go into something or into a hard warm up right from scratch, because sometimes in life, that's where people pull muscles and shit like that. You have to be careful and know your limits, know when to push it and when not to. Because what if you're at the grocery store and, some D-bag says something to you, or, God forbid, gets too close to you and you all of a sudden are in a brawl and you don't know what to do, and all of a sudden, you messed up, and now you're like, oh shit, now I got to fight this guy, and you've been only watching, videos online. It's not going to work. I don't even know what the hell I was just talking about there. I'm losing it, guys. I really do think this is getting to me a little bit. I have been able to go out once a day, but man, after that, it's like you're just sitting around. What else is new, guys? Let's see. How about Submission Underground? That was crazy. Vinny Magalhaes is a beast. He didn't even flinch when Craig Jones was twisting his knee out. That was insane. I know what I was talking about. Having multiple different type of training partners, and Craig saying when you're in the grocery, like let's go back to the fight in the grocery store, people. We're going back to that. So you're getting in a fight in the grocery store. You don't get a chance to warm up. You just have to go 0 to 100. And that was the whole point of that. So sometimes, you just got to be ready to rock, but most of the time you want to be able to do a good warm up if you're going to work out. But hey, man, if shit hits the fan, you got to be able to jump into action right away. And that's just about knowing your limits. Again, I don't know why I was talking to that. I was going off on a rant there, but also too been talking about Demolition Man a lot. Go back and watch Demolition Man with and the reason why I remember that is because they just started the Michael Jordan Bulls documentary, which has been going on for, I think we're on episode 3 or 4. And, there was one on last night about mostly concentrating on Dennis Rodman. I didn't watch all of it. I watched some of it, but Dennis Rodman was a man. I have his book where he's sitting on a motorcycle and just the basketball is covering his, Bjornsson. But I think it's called As Bad As I Want to Be. And, he was crazy back in the day, dated Madonna, Carmen Electra. He was all over the place. He took last night it was about he just told, imagine, this is the type of, there's players, coaches, and there's coaches Marcelo, for instance, Marcelo Garcia, one of the, if not the greatest jiu-jitsu competitor of all time. If you do anything crazy at his body, do something stupid, he'll just kick you out. Or if you're kind of a weird, you have a big ego, or you have you You're like Dennis Rodman or Michael Jordan, any of the top athletes, they usually come with baggage, they call it. Fighters are the same way. But there are a lot of guys who are able to put together like groupings of people and just kind of keep the peace. I feel like I'm pretty good at that, where I just kind of like, try to keep the peace as a coach between everybody and make sure we can all train together, because that's how we stay good, by having everybody and all the different partners to train with, different looks. Like you got your leg lock guys, you got your big dudes, you got your strong guys, you got people that can even roll with Thor and give them, good rounds, so it's like a whole, it's like a whole thing that everybody puts together. So I feel like I'm trying to be, like that, where I try to keep everybody together like a player's coach. Like how many big egos were, if you guys are into sports, how many big egos were on University of Miami? How many good guys came through the U? There's a documentary on ESPN, 30 for 30, called The U, and it's sick, dude. Jimmy Johnson, who is also multiple time collegiate champion, national champ, and then coach. And then he also coached Dallas Cowboys into some championships. And Jimmy Johnson's like, does commercials for the male enhancement pills called Extends. So, Jimmy Johnson is a crazy motherfucker. And back in the day, he used to let the guys do coke and let the guys, go to parties all night and then play the next day. And they were crazy. They were living the high life back then, but they were winning because they had all these crazy athletes and all these big egos. And then the one time the quarterback was Tim Tebow, like the craziest grouping of people. You'd have Tim Tebow and you'd have these other guys that were basically like thugs going out to bars, beating people up, doing coke, drinking, fist fighting, and so many guys that went to the U. I mean, Michael Irvin was years ago, but then, Jimmy Johnson, same thing with the Cowboys, about those guys, partying and drinking late and, having all these women all over the place. And Jimmy Johnson was like a guy who would get the guys to be able to train hard, but they would also let them party. And that's kind of what happened with that Bulls documentary with Dennis Rodman. They needed him, and it got to like halfway through the season. He was like, I need a fucking break, dude. He was just like, I need a break. I need like 2 weeks or something. I forget how long it was. And they were like, Phil Jackson was like, all right, you need 2 weeks. If you're going to freak out, if you don't get 2 weeks, all right, well, if you do your 2 weeks, you're going to come back and, play hard for the rest of the season, try to win another championship. And he was like, yep. And then they just let him go. Michael Jordan, they were just, all right, cool, we'll play without you. And Dennis Rodman went and partied for 2 weeks or however long it was, and then he came back and they played. So, that's like, most coaches, like a guy like Marcelo, he would have booted him right there. He would have been like, if you're not on the team, you're out. But, dealing with those type of egos and those type of people, it's, it's a different type of coach. And he was more into, look up Phil Jackson. He was a really good basketball coach. I don't even know if he's still coaching. I think he coached the Lakers in some championships and shit. But I only know about the Bulls and stuff. I kind of stopped watching after Shaq and Kobe. I watched a little bit of LeBron, but I have no idea what's going on in the game right now. But that does bring back, watching those documentaries brings back a lot of memories for me, just because growing up, I was always into sports, and my one brother is really into Michael Jordan. So I also have a book called Rare Air that's really sick too, and it's like all about old school Michael Jordan. He's, dude, the greatest known athlete of all time, I think. So. And he was probably one of the most fiercest athletes when it came to, competitiveness. And there's a lot of good books and stuff. And I'm going to go back, and I haven't really paid much attention to Michael Jordan the past couple of years. I'd like to go back and look through and just see what else he's got going on and what he's been up to. I mean, he's stayed pretty much low key. I haven't heard that much from him. So anyways, MJ, fade away. Perfect. Back in the day, just fucking crushing people and shutting down Karl Malone and stuff. So, anywho, I just miss everybody. Shout out to everybody who listens to this. Just giving mad shout outs. But this has been Zach's Corner. I'm going to do some more stuff. Like I said, check out my YouTube too. I got a lot of videos on YouTube. If you guys are looking for free stuff, Finishers TV and my YouTube's got a lot of same shit. You can go on there and just watch the videos, man, and put leg locks on your wife and stuff. But I think we're going to be open sooner than people think. And like I said, remember, the first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. All right, so I'm Tyler Durden up in this bitch. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace. Thanks for listening, and thanks to our sponsor, Fuji Sports. If you guys don't know about Fuji, they've been in business in the jiu-jitsu, judo, martial arts business since the beginning of time. And they're our current sponsor. They sponsor Thor, they sponsor Grace, and they sponsor Finishers Enterprises. So if you've never checked out Fuji before, go to fujisports.com. They got all types of gear, gi, no gi, judo. They got lifestyle stuff. They got hoodies. They got stuff to clean the mats. And they also work great with BJJ Fanatics, which we actually have a DVD out right now. So if you go to bjjfanatics.com, search 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu or search Zach Maslany, JM Holland, and the 10 Planet Fundamentals come up. And you can buy a DVD and watch us teach some moves. So shout out to Fuji. Also, not to mention, if you're looking for mats and you want to make your school look great and you want to take your squad to the next level, then why are you training on puzzle mats, dog? Chew doing. Get those Fuji mats. Holler your boy. I'll hook you up with the right people and we'll get you all set up. So whether you're looking for gear, mats, DVDs, moves, we got you covered. Fujisports.com, bjjfanatics.com. Shout out to your boy. This podcast is also brought to you guys by shopfinishers.com. That's pretty much where you can get all of our gear. You can get our Cruise Combat custom rash guards, the red one, fire red, the North Carolina blue, or you can get the OD green. We're about to drop some new shirts. That's your home for Finisher TV stuff. You can actually buy tickets on there to the Finishers 10. If you want, you can get, I'm going to be releasing a bucket hat real soon, but we got some top designers, M85 Designs, Mike Mons. We got Sharkface Apparel, my boy Bryce throwing their stuff up. You can get 10p Allentown stuff. You can get 10p Miami stuff. You can get stickers. You can get 10p Miami flip-flops. We're going to be selling everything. So always check out shopfinishers.com, and that has all your needs. You can link to it from our website, too. If you go to finishersmma.com, you can just click on shop right there and get all the swag that you need. So shopfinishers.com. It's your boy.
Are you interested in starting your own podcast but have no idea what to do? Maybe you already have the equipment you think you'll need, but don't have the time or resources to produce the podcast yourself. Whether you're in the market for a producer to take over an existing show, or you want to start a whole new podcast, PRM Podcast Productions is for you. We do everything from helping you get your show started to editing, producing, uploading, managing, promoting, and much more. We offer various plans and levels of editing, as well as many additional options to choose from. We also offer voiceover and transcription services and can supply male, female, or kids voices for ads, promos, intros, outros, and more. If you want to know more or see our other shows we've produced, go to prmpodcastproductions.com or click on the link in the show notes. Anyone referred to us from Zach's Corner Podcast or from Finishers MMA will receive a 10% discount.